Hey guys, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Cole. I'm a junior physics math major doing the 3-2 engineering program. Today I'm going to be looking at oceans 11, 12, and 13 and looking at the IMDb ratings of each one. To give you a little series synopsis without spoiling it too much, Oceans 11 looks at a crew put together by Danny Ocean, played by George Clooney, while they pull off a casino heist. Oceans 12, the owner of that casino seeks repayment, so they need to put together another heist to cover that. And then in 13, a separate owner double crosses one of their crew members, so they seek to cripple his casino to get revenge. As we see, 11 was the best rated movie. They fell off quite a bit in 12, and then 13 gave them a bit of a comeback, but they didn't make it all the way back to the rating of 7.7 that 11 saw. So to conduct our data analysis, we're using the RVest package in R to scrape data off of the IMDb webpage. When we're on IMDb, we might see some tables like this on the left. You can see the bar chart of all the different ratings and then the rating by demographic, which is what we're going to be looking at specifically in this analysis. To scrape this data, you can see that we use read HTML and HTML nodes. And what that does is it looks at each element on the page, such as the bar chart or the chart of the rating by demographic separately. And then we put it into HTML table and we get kind of a list of tibbles of all the tibbles on the page. Since we're concerned with the rating by demographic one, we then select the second of those tibbles for each page of the different movies. And then we have just a tibble that we know how to work with in R, and we can use that for our analysis. First, we're going to look at the rating by age for each movie. As we can see, like we saw before, Ocean's 11 was rated best, with Ocean's 13 in the middle and 12 at the bottom. We also see that the 18 to 29-year-old age range rated all of them the best, followed by the 30 to 44, and then the younger and older raters seem to be either harsher or just like the movie less. This is important to consider as we look at our next rating, which is going to be the rating by gender. So from left to right, we see the ratings of Oceans 11, 12, and 13. Each bar represents the rating given by the gender. So we see that there isn't a huge discrepancy between them. For 11, it seems to be very even. For 12, the female raters seem to like that movie more, and then 13 is back to even. We can also look at the color, and this is going to show us what proportion of the ratings are coming from different ages. And we see a large majority for all of them is ages 30 to 44. If we think back to the last slide that I showed you, for Ocean's 11, they had a high rating equal to that of the 18 to 29 category. But for 12 and 13, they had a lower rating. But since they make up such a large chunk of the overall rating, it's kind of boosting Ocean's 11 to look even better than it normally does. Another thing we can take away from this is that in Ocean's 12, there's kind of 2 lead female actresses, as opposed to in 11 and 13, there's very little to no female representation in those movies, which could explain why the female rating for Ocean's 12 is higher. Going forward, we could try to extend our study looking at other data on the IMDb webpage. For example, they say that their overall average rating that they display is a weighted average. And I looked on the site and they specifically say that they do not disclose the formula that they use. But what we could try to do is use demographics data such as age and gender, or the bottom table that I'm showing here about voters inside the US and outside, to try to figure out an approximation of their weighted average formula and then test that on a bunch of different movies. And that would be a cool way to try to see what they're doing behind the scenes to give us that weighted average that they don't want to tell us about. Thanks for sticking around and watching the presentation.